Ever wondered whether or not you should really be doing personal tax returns as part of your practice? We're going to discuss a little bit more of that today. For those of you who know me well, they will know that I consult with a lot of accountants. And one of the things that comes up quite often in speaking to other practitioners who have been in practice, some of them for a significantly long time, is how they tend to not be interested in doing personal tax returns. In fact, they will turn away personal tax return business. I've always been a huge fan of building a T1 practice. I think there's tremendous benefits for a firm to have a T1 practice. And the benefits are, I think, twofold. One is as a way of drawing people into your practice. So it's amazing how many people who may not have much of a business, who suddenly start a small business, and next thing you know, they are incorporating. So that client that I picked up as a corporation, I probably never would have picked up if I weren't already doing a personal return. So that's one benefit, I think, of personal return practice, is to do a lot of personal returns, is the business that can come out of that. But the second thing is that if you got it right and you can get a system where you've got an efficient way of getting the returns done and the clients are satisfied and you can charge a decent price, the money you can make with doing personal returns is unbelievable. And I look at the write-ups that I get. So if I'm doing a corporate financial statement, if I can get everybody's charge out rate, I'm quite satisfied. And if I happen to have a 10, 15, 20% write-up, I am quite thrilled with that job. But with personal returns, it's not uncommon to see 150% return or a 200% write-up. Something you never see in doing bookkeeping or in doing financial statements. So one of the advantages of doing a T1 practice or doing a lot of T1s, if you can do a lot of them and do them well and in an efficient way, you can actually make better money in doing T1s than you can doing anything else in accounting and public practice. So to shy away from that, to me, is a tremendous error. Now, I'm not the only one who shares that opinion. Following is a short interview that I've had with Howard Wirch, who's got a practice in rural Manitoba, and he too will share his thoughts on the value of doing personal returns as part of his practice. One of the things you mentioned that I thought was interesting is the fact you said you do a whole lot of T1 clients. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the bigger firms, even not that big, as soon as they get over a few people, they tend to shy away from doing T1s. But your T1 is a good portion of your practice, is it not?
That's correct, yeah. I think we've never lost touch with the individual client. Because as you know, a T1 client can turn into a T2 client, can turn into a related group of companies, can turn into whatever. Yeah. So you just never know where someone might lead. And our philosophy has always been, we're not a big firm mentality. We work and live with the same people. Why would we exclude them from offering services to them? And we have wonderful T1 clients. They might just come in with T4s only. Yeah. But you know what? They're every bit as valuable as the large corporate client that might come across. Yeah. That's our philosophy. So.
Yeah, and I think we share the same philosophy on that. Something that I've discovered is that first of all, there's certain pleasures of doing a simple straight T4 tax return. There's some of those people that I only meet once a year to do their personal return. I get such a kick out of meeting them every year.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so if we shied away from doing those, well, we would miss out on meeting all of these cool individuals that may not have a business.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, some of the most rewarding experiences is that T1 client that comes in, and it's the Baba that comes by, and that's her highlight of the year, is to come see her accountant do her income tax. I mean, how rewarding is that?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. And I think you touched on something that to me in our practice has been part of the key to success is you don't know where your next big client will come from. So old grandma here that we do her tax return for next to nothing, she'll have a grandson who's starting a business, and she'll think we're the greatest thing on earth and refer the grandson to us, and next thing you know, we've got ourselves a huge corporate client out of old grandma here that most people would have not been all that interested in doing a return.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for listening. If you liked it, please indicate so, and by all means, subscribe, and don't forget to work more on your practice than in your practice. So those of you, for those of you, take 3. For those of you who, Colin, take 4.